what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up. No, I'm saying. I'm gonna do something new with this video. You know, every year before the draft, I come out with a list of the draft picks, what I think it's gonna do for the first round. I'm gonna do a little bit something different this year, and I'm piecing in two segments of this. So I might be doing two videos, or it might just be all in one. I'm gonna leave the draft for the back end, but the first part I'm gonna cover is the NFL planning pieces that these teams need, that were glaring over the season, that I think they should be doing. Players that they should go after, etc., etc. I'm gonna start off with the Arizona Cardinals. I think, I do this as a hobby. Everyone likes to say I'm not a pundit. But opinion is, everyone has an opinion and everyone should be heard. So here's mine. To get back what I'm saying, Arizona, I'm not wearing my team's hat right now because I'm being impartial. It's all big up. It's all love. So I think what Arizona should do firsthand, they need to get a running back. And I believe I'm going to leave the person that I think they should get in the first round. I'm not going to say the man's name yet, but I think that's what they need. They need a running back. They need a wide receiver to play alongside Marvin Harrison Jr. and Mark Wilson. Because I think Mark Wilson I think he'll be more effective. As much as he might be a big receiver and all that, and I think he can be a matchup problem as well if he's going after slot corners, because he can always use his big body, especially in the middle of the field. And then a lot of those times, those receivers end up playing against linebackers, and those are matchup problems for all of them. So they need a running back, they need a receiver, and I believe they need to get primarily a right guard. They need a right guard. Because they already have a left guard. Obviously, they got the two left tackles. I don't think they're gonna keep Jonas Williams playing the right side, and I think they're gonna draft one this year to back up Williams, or have a competition, which is all good. We all know competition's good. It brings out the best in people. We all know that. So, but those are the three priorities that I think Arizona should be doing. Number 2, Chicago Bears. And this is not a lot of criticisms, because they improved drastically from, and, we saw the big jump of Caleb Williams and everything. What I think needs to happen to improve this team, though, number 1, depth. I think right now they need to be able to improve and to be a stacked team, to be seen like a team like the Rams or Seattle, Buffalo, Kansas City, when Kansas City was running the league. And they're still running the league. I'm not going to disrespect them like that. They just, took a hiatus. You know what I mean? They need to be able to have pieces to back up their pieces. That's like, and like the normal saying is second string, but I say depth. Not necessarily they're second stringers. They're more like rotational guys. And it's like what we're saying about teams that make the playoffs and that are legitimately good, we look at them and we say they need to retool instead of rebuild. So it's sort of that line of thinking. So they need depth, especially on the offensive side, especially with the receivers and the running backs. And the second thing they need, I think they've been pondering this since they left. They allowed a great pass rusher to leave to go in Khalil Mack. They need an edge rusher gracefully. Like, in my mind, they're one of the teams that should be in the sweepstakes for Max Crosby. Or if they use that for the first overall pick, draft the edge rusher. They need to. But they need to get an edge rusher because they, as much as their defense the whole year created turnovers, largely they weren't unforced. They weren't forced turnovers. They were happy stance turnovers. And you can't always benefit and rely on team that happy stance to turn the ball over. Especially if you like me, you like defense, and you like stopping great offenses from scoring. So it's my team. You want to be able to dictate. It's the old dictate to offenses, not the other way around. But hey, I digress. But I get an edge rusher. Number 3, Baltimore Ravens. This is going to be my critical list. I put them at, I'm skipping a couple because I think this is the one I need to talk about first. When I post this on Facebook, because the numbering system is going to be totally different, but I want to talk about Baltimore right now. And there's a team after this. I'm going to do that again. You're going to look at the line and be like, yo, you got them all. No, I'm talking them right because these are the two teams that need to be put on notice. One is Baltimore. The season that they had, many will think that it was an outlier season, and I'm holding ownership. I'm holding ownership accountable with this problem. You had to get a new head coach. I believe what they need to do now is a lot of improving. Number 1, this might sound drastic. They should trade Marlon Humphrey. 1, his contract is about to be up, and if you can't reach a reasonable agreement, he shouldn't. He's not in the realm of trying to set the market, because you know a guy that just got traded who's better than him, and Sauce was traded in the middle of the season. I read it. I'm not here to criticize. I'm here to improve. So I think they would be growing their cap, able to get draft picks, or trade him for a comparable player, mainly for the offensive line. But I say trade Marlon Humphrey. Reconstruct Roquan's deal to add, to lessen the cap hit for this year. Either sign Tyreek Hill, or if he's going to be afraid, I think that this other guy, he has to wait to 2 months from now to be a free agent, then his contract will be null and void, is Brandon Ayuk. Unfortunately, the fourth line, I was going to say extend likely, but he went to the Giants. So I'm going to take that out. So because of that, my last option I had, because I was like, extend likely, trade Mark Andrews. But unfortunately, because likely is with the Giants, they're gonna have to keep Mark Andrews. They need to be able to. He's another one. They need to reconstruct his deal, and obviously, you can reconstruct. Once you re-sign Lamar, that frees up even more money. They need to. I still believe they're close. I'm not saying blowing up entirely, but they need to start hurrying up because you're starting to see the injuries frequently now. They just had to change a head coach, and usually when you change a head coach, that's like hitting the red button. You know, that's like the flashing panic, blinking. You know, so the fourth team I'm going to talk about. Like I said, I'm going to be posting this online. And the numbering system, you're like, well, he slipped on. Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, congratulations on hosting the draft this year. Got to give that up to y'all. They're in the same boat. No, I was gonna say they're in the same boat with Baltimore. No, with this team, they are a team on borrowed time. They're the team that you have a cancer diagnosis, and it might. I don't want to sound like I'm being too harsh, but I need to be real. I need to be impartial. Because they are one of the teams, because you don't have an all-time quarterback, if you don't have a competent quarterback, and if you find yourself in the realm of banking on, just bring in this guy, if you don't have a long-term solution at quarterback, it doesn't matter. At times, it doesn't matter. And if you don't have an excellent play caller, it doesn't matter what quarterback you have. I mean, what receiver, what defense you have, especially nowadays. This isn't the 90s. This isn't the 80s, where you can have a monsters of the midway defense and you're able to win it all. You need to be even killed. You need to be balanced. You need to have a competent team all around. With Pittsburgh, it reminds me of what New Orleans did. And now they're just now getting out of, and Drew Brees has been gone for what? He's about to be he's about to be inducted in the Hall of Fame. They kept pushing the bill every year because and it was understandable. You had Drew Brees. They don't got him, and this team kept treading water after Ben Roethlisberger, but they haven't took the life lesson that New Orleans did, and I think New Orleans is gonna. The way I do my rankings, I'm keeping an eye on New Orleans during this draft because I think, as much as I didn't like the Tyler Shuck draft. They got him. I can't bitch about it now. He did play well. I want to see him grow. If he can grow. We'll see. Unlike, so let me get back with the Steelers. So, like, this brings me to this. It's not really a conundrum, but many, I know my Steelers friends that I know, they when they see this, they're like, what the fuck are you talking about, Hans? I'm telling you, they kept pushing the bill. And yes, they kept winning games, kept winning games, but y'all wasn't going anywhere for the past 17 years. Y'all got rid of Mike Tomlin walked away. And it is partially his fault. He couldn't find a quarterback after Big Ben. When you are middle of the pack, when you are just treading water, in sports terms, I'm only saying this in sports, that's the worst place to be in. You know, the Trailblazers, those years of Damian Lillard, and they had to let him go, or Miami's looking like now. Yeah, they're always making the plan. Come on, it's either you got to be contending or you got to be contending, or you looking for the next great player in the draft. It's not good. It's not a happy sight treading water. So I go through this long diatribe to say they need to get younger on defense. That's number one priority. I would have traded T.J. Watt and Cameron Heyward. And I don't want to sound sacrilegious, but, bro, they can get a ransom. They can get a king's ransom for T.J. Watt, and Cameron Heyward would have been a great piece to move. They could have got a great deal for him too, because I've done my research on it. I've done the projections on the deals that they can get. They can get a king's ransom for the two of these players. Start over. You got a new head coach now. And he could have had the excuse. Oh yeah, well, you got rid of a new head coach. I don't have an all-star quarterback. I can revamp. I can build this team through my own image. But no. You kept this defense in. Now you're putting even more pressure on Mike McCarthy to win right away. And with a 43-year-old, waiting on a 43-year-old who hasn't committed yet. And he was a top 25 quarterback last year. Which is, you might as well be Justin Fields. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You might as well, and I love Justin Fields, but come on. I could be a fan of the man, but he's not a starting quarterback. So, this third one, I said trade for the wide receiver, which they did. They traded for Mike. They traded for Matt Pitt Jr., which I like. I actually like that deal. You know, you have, and they kind of made the amends of trading away Pickens, and now Pickens is about to, set the market, and they was like, damn, we should have never got rid of him. So they made up for it. They got Pittman, and now you still got DK. That's going to be a good combination. I don't think it's going to be in the realms of CD and Higgins, or CD and Pickens, or I don't think it's in that realm. But if it can be, that would be awesome. We'll see. And I said also draft a receiver, but I'm going to end up taking this out because, like I said, they traded for one, and the one that they traded, he has a huge cap hit. So if they reconstruct his deal, which I think they will, that would be perfect for them, and they won't have to receive. They won't have to draft a receiver, and they can just draft a quarterback. Or and like I said, I went through this whole dark trap with them. I actually want them to succeed because I like the wars, that we had against Pittsburgh. It was fun, and the quarterback wars. In my eyes, they can be one of those teams for those quarterbacks coming out next year. Guys like Trinidad, obviously Arch, Moore. I would love to see them get one of those guys. Sellers, like, be in that realm. But they're going to be good again and then miss out on a good quarterback to save face. That's what I'm saying. They should have just blew it up. But I digress. So I'm going to take that out. Okay. Go up. The next team we're going to talk about is Buffalo. This is probably going to be one of my fastest ones. They need to get a safety, and they need to get a young linebacker. I think they should move Matt Milano. It's time. He doesn't look the same before the injuries. He's not the same player. Try to get a 3rd round pick, 4th round pick for him. Move on, or you leave him as a mentor, and then you draft the heir apparent. Tyler Rapp was good. And what's his name is the spiritual leader. Damar Hamlin. I might be saying his name wrong. But they need a guy. They need to draft a guy or brought in a safety that can make an impact. Like I would have loved for them to get a guy like Justin Simmons or something like that. But unfortunately, he went to the Jets. I don't know why. Jets ain't going nowhere this year. They're in rebuild, totally rebuild. Okay, but that's what I think what Buffalo should do. Get a young linebacker. You got a new head coach now. Y'all going all offense. Get a young linebacker. Get a safety, and then you already got pass rushers that to use on. And yeah, traded for DJ Moore. Put the cape on Josh Allen back. But selectively. Y'all have put him in a place where he doesn't have to always do that, which is good. The next team, Cleveland Browns. I'm happy about talking about this team because everyone knows about my feelings on Shedeur, and I'm happy that Shedeur is doing this thing, and Shedeur is doing what Shedeur does, like coming in, being the only quarterback coming in, being the student of the game. That his father was like that when he played. And we all know how Deion's one of those special people in this world. So it's not even like talking about humanity's sake. Like I wish he was president right now. Like I would hate, you know what I mean? But I digress. I don't want to get political. Okay. Number one with Cleveland, they actually started doing this, and I think they're gonna do it even more during the draft. They revamped the whole O-line. I love that they did that. They brought in a couple of guys that I like, so they can protect him and have. Now it's all about building a team, and because I think, like I said, I believe in him, but he he still needs to prove it. So I'm not gonna I'm not gonna propose the case and all that. So he did what he did. They revamped the whole line. I loved it. Reconstruct Denzel Ward's deal or trade him because he set the market a couple of years ago, and ever since then, I don't want to sound like harsh and saying that they're not getting the big bang for their buck type ordeal, but you get that. You get the mess. It's sort of like, bruh. It's like, bruh. If they're gonna hold on to Deshaun, and I don't know why they're doing that. It's I'm blaming ownership. Yeah, drafted these two quarterbacks last year. One of them outperformed the other. The main reason why you had to draft these two quarterbacks is not only because of injury, but the guy wasn't playing well. And yeah, still holding on to him. I'm sorry. It would have been. Deshaun needs a new scenery. And we're not talking about Shedeur. Because of the injury, we haven't seen him in the limelight. The case, everyone's going to talk about the case. I'm not going to talk about the case. He wasn't performing well. And the last time we saw him on the field, he's middle of the pack, cut bait, and it's because his cap hit. You're about to get over the cap hit, so if they could have just cut bait and saved $45 million, like, but hey, and have more money to sign guys. But hey, I digress. Sign. They're the next team, like Buffalo. Sign Tyreek Hill or Brandon Ayuk. I personally believe that because they can't bank on Jerry Jeudy being the number one. He's shown to be a number two. He was forced into being a number one because it's the Cleveland Browns. So, all right. The next team talking about here, Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati, the team that's been on my mind lately. The first objective that I'm gonna say might be contradicting. Not contradicting, because when I come out with the draft, you're gonna be like, "Yo, how the fuck?" I mean, I want them to draft Caleb Downs from Ohio State, the top safety in this draft. But they revamped their defensive line, which I like. But letting go Trey Henderson to the enemy for nothing is kind of like sacrilegious. But hey, I digress. I'm not gonna criticize them for that. Shit happens. I mean, I'll do that later. But yeah, Caleb Downs. I want them to get Caleb Downs revamped. I want them to revamp the offensive line. Because Josh, he had to deal with another. Joe had to deal with another injury again, and and the way he's been talking lately, they need to be protecting him no matter what. about retirement. I'm like, bro, you starting to sound like Tyree. You starting to sound like fucking Travis Kelce. And come on, bro. It's like I'm not coming at him. I was like, now it's like, damn, like I'm worried that this might turn into Carson Palmer territory. Remember how what Carson did to leave Cincinnati? He threatened retirement. So I'm like, Cincinnati, if y'all don't learn when you have good quarterbacks, this happens. I mean, and this goes in with the line of revamping the offensive line, trade or release Orlando Brown. His cap, he's on the metrics, the contract that he's getting, it doesn't equate. He's like one of the top paid guys. He's not even in the top 10. So they need to get rid of him. The offensive line has been one of the worst in the league since he's been drafted. So, and they got lucky making a Super Bowl run out of it. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, these guys have talked about it. If your offensive, they were able to stand right and deliver darts for a whole career, for a whole 20 plus years, because they had competent offensive line play. They need to get that, and that's all for Cincinnati. They're revamping their defense and all that. So, the next team I'm going to talk about is Carolina Panthers. I see y'all made the playoffs this year, edged out, Tampa, edged out, Atlanta. Amazing job. The 3 things I'm going to have suggested for y'all, I don't think they did none of them. No, I think they did one. But the other 2, it's not really drastic. It's fair analysis. Franchise Bryce Young. This is actually one of the teams that I actually want them to trade for Marlon Humphrey. Sounds like trade for Marlon Humphrey. And the third suggestion is sign another safety or draft another safety. Y'all focused on improving the defensive line, which is cool, and pass rushing. I'm cool with that. They need another guy to play alongside Horn, Jackson. I think Jackson's strength would be more in playing slot because he's quick-footed. He's quick-footed and all that. So I think he fares better in that realm. So that's what I'm saying. Trade for Marlon Humphrey. You have a 1A. You have another 1A, and you have a tandem right there. So I think that's one of the teams that should be trading for Marlon Humphrey. Denver Broncos. I don't think there's only 2. The Denver Broncos, while many people were surprising, Sean Payton has always been a great head coach, so I'm not going to chastise him. I want him to get younger on the offensive line. So it's sort of like adding depth, pretty much. All of their big contracts are to the offensive line because, they still got the guy playing on the rookie deal, which is perfect. But, we know Bo Nix is coming back. He's not coming back from like a torn ACL type deal. So we all know he's going to be ready by training camp. So getting younger at the offensive line, the left tackle, the right tackle, the right guard, and the left guard all four of them are like making high bread, which is damn, it's like crazy. And the second suggestion is in the backup round. Unfortunately, he's still a free agent, I think, if he wasn't signed yet. Signed Jacob Dobbs. Unfortunately, my Patriots, even though he was the backup, we brought back Tommy DeVito, and I'm like, Jacob Dobbs has a better resume. I don't know why, and I like Jacob Dobbs. He's a good backup to hold the fort, and I'm sorry, Trevor Siemian, that playoff game. Look, I'm gracious that we won, but I knew he was gonna win once both Knicks got hurt. I was like, yeah, we're going to the Super Bowl. Even though we got our ass beat in the Super Bowl, but I knew we was gonna beat Baltimore. Come on. Everyone wants to talk about the weather. No, it could have been sun. Before the weather even started to hit, he was not playing well. Jacob Dobbs will be a better backup for you guys. It's not even up for debate. Okay. Dallas Cowboys. Not a hard one to debate. Redo everybody's contract, because I started this list for a lot of signings, a lot of trades didn't happen yet. Redo contracts to get above water, to basically redo everybody. And that's what they did. So they were able to add pieces to the defense, which made them better, which I actually like. So can't criticize them. I can't. I mean, I like what they did. So hold the fort, get it done. Okay. Ugh. Draft a safety and corner safety, actually. I believe in the first round. Especially in the first round. Oh, I almost forgot. Hold up. With Cleveland, I'm so sorry. I just been steamrolling here. One more thing I wanted to say about Cleveland before we leave Cleveland completely. The last thing I wrote down was to draft Cardell Tate in the first round, and sign. Yeah, like I said, they're living the life of Baltimore. Either sign Tyreek Hill or Brendan Ayuk. Back to the Cowboys. The third and final trade for Max Crosby. Get it done. Jerry, get it done. I think getting for them to get Matt. I know you're an historian, Max Crosby. Jerry, I know you are an historian. Missing out on this would be like you not trading for Charles Haley. You heard it here first. And if you remember I know how you feel about Charles Haley. This is your Charles Haley 2.0. Get it done. Get it done. And this whole, I would give up everything for a Super Bowl would actually be believable. And like I said, I'm impartial. As much as I can say I like Dak, you know what I mean? I like, and I like the Tatum, I like the Tatum and CD and shit like that. And I like watching their games. They're a good, they're a good watch. Until they play my Patriots, then your enemy. But bruh, Get Max Crosby. You'll be doing yourself a favor. And like I said, we will start believing you. And like, yeah, I would give up everything for a Super Bowl, for another one. Get it done. If this was Robert Kraft, he would have got it done. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm not even trying to chastise here. Okay. LA Chargers. Next team I'm talking about. Not hard enough. We're about to start making moves soon because I got to work out a little bit. Only 2. Draft for depth, especially on the defensive side. I already got a legit defense. Retool on the offensive line because y'all were killed with the injury bug this year, and this is the year for you to be prepared. Trade for AJ Brown. That's the second thing. Draft for depth and trade for AJ Brown, because Quentin Johnson finally popped this year. But he's not a game changer for you. And Ladd McConkey is a great player, really great player. He need help. I'm not saying that he's helpless. It would be getting AJ Brown. He would be seeing a lot of number 1 coverages. You can't double team him because niggas they're gonna have to double team. You can't double team everybody. The saying goes. You gotta pick your poison. Okay. So, those are only 2 options. Detroit Lions. I just wrote, get a left tackle because, Decker extra is released. Or, I'm hearing y'all gonna move the right tackle to the left tackle, sort of what Tampa did with the Tristan Wirfs. But you're still gonna need a tackle. The teams that were able to beat you up this year, if they had a great defensive line, they beat you up. So get a left tackle, draft an offensive guard, mainly draft the center, and draft the linebacker. Fall back a little bit. You back. The next team I'm talking about, Atlanta Falcons. Revamp offensive line, defensive line. Yeah, just one of the right tackle just retired. Yeah, still got Matthews. You still got he has the right guard like him, and the young center, the young center and the young left guard. I think he could. Y'all can improve on the offensive line, the defensive line as well, except the 2 edge rushers that y'all drafted last year. Make them the 2 edges. Start playing the 4-3. And honestly, I was gonna say actually trade Matthews, but like I said, I didn't see the right guard retiring until now, so y'all can hold on to him. Have a good time. reconstruct. AJ Terrell's deal. And draft a receiver to play alongside Drake London. And because yeah, signed him after he left Chicago. I keep forgetting his last name, but he's more of a slot guy. He's more of a slot guy because I'm not saying he can't play the other side, but he demolishes single coverage and linebackers, mismatches and everything. Most of the mismatches for him is in the middle of the field. Draft a receiver so he can play middle of the pack. Miami, next team. Well, the first one you already did. You cut Tua, draft offensive line, draft the cornerback. Y'all they're total rebuild. Total rebuild. Kansas City, sign or draft a receiver. Tyreek, wink, wink. Draft the edge rusher. Reconstruct Chandler Jones' deal. Or trade him if you can't meet the terms. Because y'all moved McDuffie, you don't fall into the realms of being like Pittsburgh. Unlike you in Pittsburgh, you got a quarterback, and y'all won 3 Super Bowls. So I'm not gonna come down hard on you. Y'all live in the Patriot life. When we were in our dynasty, we just kept retooling, but improving at the margins. Keep doing that. Houston Texans. I wanted them to sign the best center in the league this year. Unfortunately, he went to Oakland, got that bag. Can't hate on that. So draft the center, and then draft for depth. They already got a whole bunch of receivers. They need a running back. They need running back and retool on the offensive line. Real talk. Sorry, fellas. Sorry, guys. Not hard to do, but Indianapolis Colts. Trade the D tackle that plays alongside DeForest Buckner, Stewart. Draft for depth. Sign them. I was gonna bring back torn Achilles Daniel Jones anyway. I was actually looking at this team being in the realm of signing Mac Jones, Kirk Cousins, not Malik Willis, because we all know Malik Willis was gonna be for the looking for to start. So to be in that realm, and they did what they did. They got to move Anthony Richardson. It's unsolvable. Move him. Jets, they need to crush the draft completely. They need to hit on every pick because they're rebuilding from scratch, basically, especially defensively. So crush the draft. rebuild the defense. Giants draft a receiver to play alongside Malik Willis because I just lost Robinson. And, yeah, sign a linebacker, which I did, and bringing in Edmonds, and draft a running back and a safety. This is the rumblings of the guy, and all the mock drafts that I see them doing, that a lot of them have him going there. So the third one might be hit. Jacksonville Jaguars draft a running back, to spring, because I just lost. It just lost one of the running backs, and y'all gonna need to spring Tank Bigsby. Draft linebacker, because I lost Devin Lloyd. Yeah, he went to Oakland too. Las Vegas. An upgrade at left tackle. I think they should be in the realm of trying to draft one of them star linemen. Trying to move up in the draft. That's what I mean. Rams. Okay. Raiders. Yeah, rebuild the defense. Obviously, draft the Heisman Trophy winner, which is going to be Fernando. And the third one I had for the Las Vegas Raiders, y'all did, because y'all threw money at the whole offensive line, and I love that. At least I tried. I could give y'all up that. Was to sign offensive lineman, and that's what y'all did. Y'all crushed it. Okay. Tennessee Titans. Sign or draft wide receiver. Move Will Levis. Time to cut bait. Waste the draft pick. Time to move that. And add depth to the defense, because since you're not going to move Simmons, time to move Simmons. Since you're not moving them and y'all going to build around them, get some pass rushers. My Patriots. The New England Patriots. Upgrade the offensive line. Draft the center, because we traded away ours. Sign the running back. Get an elite pass rusher. I think only 3 of these are possible. And I think we already did one. I think we'll do what we do. Improve. Fly Eagle. Philadelphia, I'm going to talk about y'all next. Eagles. Trade A.J. Brown. Draft tight end and right tackle, because I need to be ready for, Lane Johnson's retirement. And I think after this year, Dallas Goedert is going to be a free agent. I think so. And he's one of the top flight guys, so he might be looking up for a little crazy deal, and that's what I'm saying. Trading A.J. Brown. But I would say this, if y'all trade A.J. Brown, then y'all won't have to draft a tight end, because y'all can give the money to Dallas Goedert and sign an edge rusher. Y'all always do. Green Bay Packers drafted cornerback, drafted defensive tackle, and signed the center. Minnesota Vikings. With this one, I was wrong about because I ended up going with Kyler Murray. I said sign Mac Jones. But yeah, I ended up with Kyler Murray. Better. Reconstructed the defensive linemen's contracts, which is, Greenlaw and I was gonna say Hunter's at Easton. Damn, Keith, the guy that I got from Miami, I keep forgetting his last name. But reconstruct their deals and draft the corner or safety. Or both. Tampa Bay. This was actually one of the teams that I thought that should put an offer sheet for this guy, TJ Watt. Tampa Bay. Trade for TJ Watt. Drafted linebacker. Levante David retired. Who didn't see that coming? Signed the offensive lineman. I don't think I did. Yeah, I need to. Especially add depth to the offensive line, especially if y'all got an all-star in Tristan Wirfs. But yeah, I need like a Joel, like I need to not revamp, but retool the offensive line. New Orleans revamped the whole offense. That's why I wrote for them. But like I said, they're one of my teams to watch. Revamp offense. And what I meant by not add more pieces, in which I did. Yeah, I got all the old guard has retired or left. Or yeah, let go, which I like. Time for new. Draft corner, draft linebacker to replace those and have a guy play alongside Kool-Aid. Commanders add depth to the offensive line, sign a backup, or if y'all want to keep what's his name we'll see. Add depth to the offense, get a pass rusher, a young one, and draft corner. '49ers reconstruct Fred Warner's deal, trade Nick Bosa. And I know this person would love to have this on his team. Have the Bosa brothers play on the same team. But I don't think it's realistic, but if that happens, that can happen. Trade Nick Bosa because it's time. The cap hit and the injuries are starting to mount up. With this deal, it's a more easier deal to get done, unlike the Max Crosby deal. Because unlike Max Crosby doesn't have the injuries that Nick Bosa has. And so the King's ransom that they want for Max Crosby doesn't align with Nick Bosa, and Nick Bosa's value isn't in the realm of Max Crosby. But they are comparable passers. So I'm not trying to shit on both because they're both legit. Sign a corner, draft a safety, and they brought back what's his name anyway? Greenwald. I don't know. Trade for corner. Like I said, I wrote this. Okay. LA Rams now. This is the 30th team. 31st team. I should say. I'm sorry. LA Rams trade for a corner. They traded for Trent McDuffie, signed a own lineman. Signed a signed a tackle, an offensive tackle, which they did, and I think add depth to the receiving core. Yeah, they're starting to get old, and yeah, Puka Nacua is about to get his new deal. And they also need to draft a quarterback. And now the Super Bowl champions, Seattle Seahawks. Unfortunately, this is all about replace the positions that, sign a corner because y'all lost Tariq Woolen, draft a running back because y'all lost Walker, and draft. All I hear about y'all wanted to improve at the center position, so I wrote that down. And that's it. Deuces for the NFL plans. I'm going to come back and do the draft in my next video.